You might have heard him in the background. His name is Wally. Can we meet him?
And here he is. See, he's going for the beer already.
I never thought in my life I would want to combine those three things together. The Duchesse, or the Duchesse de Bourgogne. It is French for the Duchess of Burgundy. This Duchess of Burgundy, Mary of Burgundy, was the only daughter of Charles the Bold, who died in the medieval ages back in the 1400s, the 15th century, in a horse riding accident. This is a Belgian red ale, a Flemish ale, if you will. It's pretty sour from what I've heard, somewhere along the lines of a lambic. I've never tried this one before, but I'm excited to try this one. This one has great reviews. We've never reviewed a beer like this before, so this is going to be a first for us. I'm super excited. Can't always say how excited I am, but I'm super excited. Guys, it's the Duchesse de Bourgogne. Alessandro, what do you know about this beer? I mean, I think I chose this one to review, but I know this is one of your favorites. You've been drinking this one for a little while, right?
You are correct, my friend. And it's I was so happy when you chose it. I wanted to introduce it at a certain point, but when you suggested it, I jumped right on. I said, yes, we should review that 100%. And well, you described it perfectly. It's a Flemish red ale. It has a little bit of sourness to it. So it's going to be interesting because this is our first sour style beer that we're going to be reviewing. This is a kind of beer that is a mix of different types of beer that have been aged for many months, which is something when it comes down to beer, like you don't normally, it's not something you associate normally with beer. You know, you want beer as fresh as possible. Well, here we have an example of what aging can do to beer, and specifically a Flemish aging process. So it's going to be exciting to try together.
Is it the aging process specifically that gives it the sour notes to it? Is it the fact that it's aged in the oak barrels? What is it that gives it the sour flavor?
You are correct. It's the fact that it's being aged for a certain amount of time inside of oak barrels. So the oak barrel imparts like flavors and the aging process itself. So the yeast that is still present, the bacteria that is present that reacts over time in the beer. All of those elements are giving extra character to the beer that normally you wouldn't find.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
So this is going to be quite interesting. And I can tell you that the first time that I actually had it, I'm not going to say anything, but it's quite shocking.
Look, the last couple of beers that we've reviewed have been quite shocking. Actually, the last two. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you watched our last review episode, you know what I'm talking about, the intense smokiness. This one I'm expecting to be just as jarring as just as shocking. Again, like I mentioned, I'm not the big sour person. I know that sours in general right now are becoming very trendy in the beer world, and I've tried a lot of sours that I really love. I'm still kind of developing my palate for sours. So I'm interested to see how I react to this one and what kind of scores I get. I know it's one of your favorites. I've never tried it before. I'm kind of a sour noob coming into it. I don't know too much about them. I'm just learning. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Should we start off, crack them open?
I think we should. Let's go ahead.
Do it. I don't even know what this is going to look like. This is a complete mystery to me. It's in like such a super dark bottle. Well, it is a Belgian red ale by the description on the label, so I guess the fact that it is red does make sense. It has a little bit more head than what I expected too. I kind of thought it would be more like a lambic in the sense where it's a little bit more flat and non-carbonated and you wouldn't get so much of a head, but there's some carbonation happening.
That's actually one of the reasons why this is the Duchess of beers.
The Burgundy Duchess. My friends, I am always the gentleman in letting you start first. Please go right ahead. Dig right in. Let me know what you think of the aroma.
Well, like we've mentioned, this is a favorite beer of mine. So, and the reason why it's a favorite beer, because starting from the aroma, it just takes you places where you've never been. And the aroma here has this incredible acidity, but also savory note, which you don't normally associate with beer. And to me, again, I'm not going to say the main descriptor because I want you to smell it first, and then I'm going to say what I think. But to me, this aroma is something unique that I've never, and you can't really find it in any other beer other than the Duchess. So for me, this is an absolute 3 out of 3.
Wow. I like that you gave your score without giving the descriptors, and you're letting me kind of go in for the first time and say what I think. Let's see. Oh, wow. So, like other, it's not alembic, but people do compare this to alembic from what I've read.
They do.
There is that vinegar aroma that I get right off the bat. That's there. But it's not the dominant aroma. It's not like all you smell is vinegar, but there's an element of not even white vinegar, like balsamic vinegar, I would say.
Yes.
But there's a savoriness as well. Like you said, there's definitely a savoriness. I get some dark fruit as well, like some prunes and raisin, as well as some smokiness. So there's an amazing mix of aromas there. You get the balsamic vinegar, I get the smokiness, and I get the prunes. I get a really dark, sweet element to it as well. That is incredible. This aroma is very, very unique. Like you said, I believe you. When you tell me something is going to be unique, I believe you 100%, and you never disappoint. It is a 3-on-3 for aroma for me as well. Absolutely. That's incredible. It's so inviting as well. I find some beers of this style, the aroma is a little bit off-putting for me personally. This one is not at all. I think it's maybe the mixture of the savory and the smokiness as well, but I'm dying to take a sip of this one.
I agree with you, and that's why I call it the Duchess. Cheers, my friend. Let's get into the taste.
Oh, I've been waiting for this one. Cheers. Let's do it. Oh my God. I was not expecting that at all. Wow. Okay, you go first. Go right ahead, and then I'll talk because I got a lot to say. Lot to say about beer.
Pure taste, and then I'm gonna let you describe it because it's your first time experiencing. So I think it's fun for people to see like what that kind of reaction. Like I've had it multiple times. Very little sweetness, high acidity, savoriness, like to the bone. It's so rich and like inviting you to go back to that glass. 0 to non-bitterness, and you do get like that's crisp, refreshing finish. So for me, 3 out of 3. Sorry. Please, Joe, go ahead.
This is approaching perfect beer territory so far. 2 3 out of 3s from you, 1 3 out of 3 for me. Are we going to be able to ring the perfect beer alarm again? Let's find out. I gotta say, for taste, I was not expecting how sweet the taste would be. The first thing that struck me was like a dark chocolate cherry flavor, taste that comes out right away. I was not expecting that because I didn't get that out of the aroma. I didn't get dark chocolate or cherry out of the aroma at all. But for me, that's the first taste that hit right away. And like you said, it's so crisp, it's so clean. The taste is so strong right away, but it doesn't linger at all. That's getting into finish. I won't go into that too much. But oh wow, so let me see if I can get anything aside from the dark chocolate and the cherry. I mean, there still is that vinegary taste that's there with most sours or...
Balsamic vinegar, like you said, to me is a very good descriptor.
It's balsamic vinegar, dark chocolate, and cherry for me. Those are the 3 main taste elements that I'm getting. I never thought in my life I would want to combine those 3 things together in any way, shape, or form. I might even go try like make a cake after this with dark chocolate, cherry, and black and balsamic vinegar. I don't know. It works. This is a 3-on-3 for me. This is an interesting 3-on-3. Tasting this is incredible. This is masterfully done. So let's move right along to mouthfeel. What do you think about the mouthfeel?
So mouthfeel, again, let me take another sip just to make sure.
Gotta take that other sip.
But to me, this is the quintessential Flemish red ale. for what I know and I've experienced. Crisp, bright, savory. It has that carbonation that really elevates everything. And I don't want to be too boring, but really this is what I genuinely think about this beer. And I've had many others in that same category. I don't think any others of the ones that I've had express this character in a way that I like it, end up liking it as much. So mouthfeel, again, for the reason I just described, I'm going to go 3 on 3.
Wow. The mouthfeel on this one is really interesting. It's not an overly carbonated beer, but you get the carbonation on the mouthfeel. Like if you look at it, there wasn't a big head. It's not overly foamy. It didn't hiss or pop too much when you pop the cap on it, but that carbonation hits your tongue as soon as you take it in, and you feel it. It's not a huge amount of carbonation, but it's just enough. It's just enough carbonation that for me, mouthfeel, carbonation is huge for me in mouthfeel. It's really, really important. So it hits the notes just enough. That vinegariness that's there that stimulates your taste buds and your palate just enough to make it really interesting. You know, normally I reserve really high scores on mouthfeel for ones that sort of like pop with a lot of carbonation. This doesn't have that necessarily, but it's a 3 on 3 for me as well. Surprisingly, this is really interesting. It has just enough carbonation, just enough acidity, just enough of that vinegar, but it's all perfectly balanced. It's all mixed really well. We're keeping the perfect streak alive with the Burgundy Duchess. Okay, this one is interesting for this beer. Finish. Go. What do you think?
Well, again, I'll just take another sip. So, incredible taste, mouthfeel, smell, finish. The savoriness lingers for so long, sits there on your palate. You do get that sour cherry that Joe described, the dark chocolate that pops up. It's not present at the beginning, and on the nose it's kind of subtle, but if you know this beer, you know that it's there. You start recognizing it. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, and I'm happy that you pointed those out, because I smell exactly the same. Vinegar, balsamic vinegar, sour cherry, and chocolate. Those are the descriptors that I use all the time. But to me, they come out like on the finish way more, like you said, than on the nose at the beginning. So that's what I love, that you have this savoriness experience at the front, and then you get that dark chocolate and cherry coming on the back. So it's really like a beer that like is taking you along a journey, and the ride is beautiful. So I have to go with 3 on 3 on the finish, because again, like it's something that's incredibly unique. I've never had anything like this before.
All right, 3 on 3 for the finish. So we're 3 on 3s all the way through so far. Are we gonna make it to perfect beer territory? We still don't have that perfect beer belt that I want to get one day to be able to ring when things like this happen. I wasn't expecting this to be a perfect beer, but so far it is. So finish. It's so good. It's so interesting. It has that little bit of a burn too. So after you get all those flavors, you can taste the balsamic vinegar, you can taste that dark chocolate, you can taste the cherries. There's that little burn that just stays on your tongue afterwards. That's so interesting. This is such a unique finish for me. I've had other kind of lambic style beers before that were similar to this in the finish, but this takes that and balances it out in a way that makes it a lot more palatable, I think, for maybe the average beer drinker, especially it does for me. So you know what? I say I reserve my 3 on 3s for things that are unique. This is a 3 on 3. I can't believe it. Oh my God. I can't believe I've never had this beer before.
And you chose it, my friend. That's the best part.
I know. I think subconsciously I remember that you told me this was one of your favorites, so I saw it. And so I was like, oh, we got to review this one. So, God, I'm assuming if we both gave 3 on 3s all the way through, once it gets to the overall, that's 3 on 3s for both. It's a 3 on 3 for me. It has to be. I can't give it anything different. What is it for you?
What could it be, my friend? I said it's the Duchess. 3 on 3 for me as well. Cheers.
Perfect beer. Cheers, my friend. This joins the Hall of Fame of perfect beers in the Beer Bracket Hall of Fame, which doesn't exist yet, but maybe one day I'll physically build that.
That's an interesting concept, my friend, and I think we should actually start thinking about that, the Hall of Fame.
I think we should. I mean, God, look at the beers that are up there already. You got Guinness, you got ABT 12, And now you got the Duchesse de Bourgogne, the Burgundy Duchess. Guys, one thing to mention, you might have heard during the video a little bit of squeaking, a little bit of crying. Alessandro just adopted a puppy. You might have heard him in the background. His name is Wally. Can we meet him?
Well, of course. And if you notice here in the last part of the video, one of my hands was a little tied. And here he is. Yes.
Oh my God, look at him. He's so cute.
He's going to be part of the reviews as well, right, Wally? Yeah, he's excited. He can't wait. See, he's going for the beer already. Let's see what he thinks about the smell. Oh, yes. Yes, see, yeah, he likes it. No, not yet. You can't have that.
He's only a couple of months old right now, right?
He's 9 weeks. So 2 months and 1 week.
My God, he's so cute.
But he was complaining because he wanted to go use the restroom, which is good. He's being a very good boy.
And he also could smell the delicious beer that we're reviewing, and he wanted to be in the room.
I mean, to be fair, if I knew that someone was reviewing the Duchess in the room next to me and was not inviting me,
I'd be crying too.
I would be pissed. Like, I wouldn't just be whining slightly. I would be screaming.
So if you heard Wally during any of our review, now you know what it was. There was nobody being tortured in the other room. It was just Wally wanting to come and join in on the fun. Guys, thanks for joining us. Another beer has joined the Perfect Beer Hall of Fame. One day we'll have something physical where it'll be up there. Take care. Cheers. As always, don't forget to close your beer brackets. We'll see you next time.
Take care.